There we go. All right. Well, I will call this meeting of the Shutesbury CPC to order. And yeah, everybody's participating remotely. Apparently I'm supposed to say that. So this is our first meeting for the new year. There's a bunch of things on the agenda that I wanted to go through. We'll start off with a review and approval of the minutes from the July 14th meeting. Is there somebody who can take minutes for today?
I am.
Elaine, you are. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Elaine.
Thanks.
So I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of July 14th.
And I'll second.
All right, any discussion? All right, there's a motion to approve the minutes. Farrell,
Aye.
Julio,
Dane, I wasn't here.
Scott,
Aye.
and Gallo, aye. All right, moving on, update on current membership. Again, we have a new planning board representative, Jake, who is unable to be here today. And Linda, you wanted to say something about?
Oh, no. Linda, no.
Well, I'm happy to stay on until,
Right.
until it gets closer to, the time when I'm, gonna
I'll
move.
say it for you, Linda.
So I just wanted to, acknowledge that, that it will be my, it'll be coming. And I have, a couple of months ago, I did write to the Conservation Commission to, let them know that it was, it would be prudent for them to think about a new representative, because when I resigned, that's the position. So I'll follow up with them again. And I did meet with Matteo to pass over the file box that I've been, managing, and to just let him know the things that I've been doing, which is publishing the legal notices and paying the bills.
So can we just go through the representation now by statute? I just can't remember this. We have,
So I'm the at-large member.
okay,
Rita, you are representing the
housing.
Affordable Housing. Henry's Historical Commission. Alan is the designee of Select Board to perform the duties of a Board of Park Commissioner. Jake is Planning Board. Elaine is Open Space Recreation, and Linda is Concom.
That was
And that's
quick
that's
for
what
me
we
to
have.
type. That was way
Yeah.
too quick for me to type.
Yeah. Oh,
It's all up on the website. I just cheated.
Okay.
Sidebar on the website.
Okay.
well, Linda, stay as long as you can. Be great to get, whatever. We understand. We don't want you to go, but we understand. It's inevitable. It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. I can't really,
Predict
stay on
exactly
when I'm,
when.
not in Massachusetts anymore. So-
Right.
Did the Conservation Commission respond when you?
Nope.
No.
No, they didn't. So I will follow up again, and because I volunteered to go to a meeting and just give them a little bit of a, summary of what the role is about. And so I will be in touch with them.
Okay.
I'll take that on for sure. Okay, that's it from me.
Is there any other discussion about membership on the CPC? Rita, Elaine, are you leaving?
Oh, no.
Not right now.
Unless I'm run out of town.
I was just gonna say that, Rita.
Thanks, Elaine. Great minds and all.
If we're put on a broom, I'm getting out of here.
Oh, I just looked at my tooth. I have a big hunk of cilantro. Okay, it's gone.
Benefit of the masks. When we had masks on, you never had to worry about things like that, but
Right.
you're on the screen. All right, well, let's move on to the next item on the agenda, which is, I thought it would be good to, given there was discussion last year, towards the end of the year, about concerns about projects kind of disappearing and not being followed through on. I wanted to reach out to various projects that seem to still be open, or that, the status was uncertain. So I sent Penny's report about the Southbrook Trails evaluation, which is ongoing, as well as the update, the fairly detailed update about Top of the Lake. So I don't know if there's anything else that if anybody had any questions or concerns about those updates.
No, that was
those were
great.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
were very good.
Yeah.
Should I put those at the end of the minutes? All of them?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it'd be good to have them in the record.
Okay.
So then the 2015 West Cemetery rehabilitation. I heard from Janice Stone and from Walter Tibbetts about this. And both of them, I forwarded Walter's email with that question at the end, and Janice also mentioned that question, which is, the Cemetery Commission has been talking about requesting funds for a couple of years at a time so that ongoing work on the gravestone restoration can be done. And she mentioned that several other town cemetery commissions work that way with their CPCs, so it wouldn't be a new thing. And I think that was along the lines of what Walter was asking about. Is it better to pull up his email so I can see how he phrased it?
I have it here. Our feeling is that asking for a smaller amount every year would allow other viable projects to also get funded.
Right, as opposed to asking.
So to ask for 5,000 to 10,000 a year on a regular basis. My feeling is I'd rather see it like maybe two applications, only because it's a lot of work. And we have a 3-year window in which they can complete it. So if they were able to say, yes, within 3 years, we can spend that amount of money. If we think it's important, that we would set it aside. So I don't know. I don't know what the competition is going to be, but I suppose if we told them that, and then a bunch of other historic projects came in, we could say, you applied for $25,000, but we can only give you 15 this year, and we can scale back the request. But it's more like a lot of paperwork and process, and even a town meeting coming in year after year. It just seems like maybe it's more efficient. I don't know. What do you guys think?
So you're saying recommend to them to apply every 3 years?
Yeah. Yeah, and for whatever they think they would spend over that 3-year period.
Over the 3 years. And to be realistic too about what they can do over the 3 years, because
that was a really long time. I think once they finally got started, and now that they have experience under their belts, maybe it will be faster this next time around. But
right, and they won't have all the tree work that they had to do preliminarily.
Right. It was really about the tree work first, then getting the headstones. And now they did the, they had to go through the procurement process too. So, although I think for that amount of money, they wouldn't have to go through a complicated procurement process. So I don't know. That's sort of my thinking, is rather than have an application every year.
Yeah, I was sort of along the same lines. I was concerned about getting one every year and the workload that would be involved with that, but then also going to town meeting every year and asking for it.
Right.
I don't know.
Right. Yes, and then the CPC would have to keep track of.
Yeah, from year. Yes, exactly.
Which year
No.
Right. Are we still working with the money from 2 years ago?
Right.
Or, that would be hard.
Okay. I can pass that recommendation on to them then, if that's the consensus, or this seems to be the sense of the committee. And it's not obviously a guarantee that they're going to get it. Right. But it's our sort of suggestion for how we could go forward. All right. Any other comments about the cemetery?
No.
So the other project, I tried to find somebody to give me some answers about the North Cove dredging. And
Nobody home, yeah.
anybody, the Lake Wyola Committee, nobody. So my question is, do we need to have a warrant article for the next town meeting to essentially revoke that award and return the $5,000 that were set aside for the project back into the appropriate fund? Does that have to be its own warrant article?
Yeah, yes, it would, and it kind of would follow our new policy. So we would want to kind of step through, go through the steps that we outlined in the policy about recapturing money. So in this case, there was no grant agreement. But I don't think there'd be any argument about how long it's been outstanding, that nobody's promoting it. I mean, there's nobody there who's speaking up for it, who's willing to take the
Who was
responsibility.
the initial?
Oh my gosh, what was his name? He's no longer
It was Fred Hartwell.
Fred Hartwell. And I don't think they own a house in Shutesbury anymore.
No.
So he was a second home owner, and he kind of drove it, and they were supposed to be raising, we were supposedly matching money from the Lake Wyola Association, I believe, and that never materialized.
Right.
And I think then Fred moved away, and nobody else kind of, it would be good to do some stuff down at the lake if
God,
there are.
that cove is in such desperate need of
Mhm.
so filled, but yeah, if nobody's gonna do the
It's
project.
it's a lot of engineering that has to be done first, and that's sort of what our money would have gone towards.
Right.
And then the question is always, can you find grants, or would the town come up with the money to actually do the dredging or whatever has to happen there? So, yeah, I mean, it would be good for somebody to own it. I don't, maybe at town meeting it would, if we brought this up, somebody would think about it and think
Right.
about what they might want to do there.
I mean, would it make sense for me to attend the Lake Wyola Advisory Committee meeting whenever they have their next one?
Yeah, so Eric is on that. You might want to talk to Eric Stocker. What do you, Linda?
Yeah, I mean, we have to remember that the Lake Wyola Advisory Committee is a town committee, of the association is the association.
Right.
And they're two different entities, and this project was a Lake Wyola Association project, with Fred being the lead. But also Mark Rivers was involved. I remember that distinctly. He came to the CPC meeting, and he is on, he is on the Lake Wyola Advisory Committee, LWAC, as well. He's the chair, actually. So maybe that is, but in the beginning it was not a town project. I guess that's what it's a, yeah, that's.
Well, Linda, can you elaborate? What's the difference between the Lake Wyola Association and the LWAC?
So the LWAC is the Lake Wyola Advisory Committee, and that's made up of representatives of the Board of Health, the Emergency Management Team, the Dam Keeper, and there are a couple
Select board has
yes, yes, definitely Select Board, and then there are a couple of there's supposed to be a Concom member, there isn't, and then there's a couple of representatives from the lake, David Green and Mark Rivers, I believe are, the two people. And so Lake Wyola Association is the private, it's a nonprofit, but it's the people who live around the lake, and they pay dues, and they manage their beaches, and they have their association building, and they have fundraisers, and they take care of their roads. that kind
They
of,
own, I just learned that they own the roads.
yes, they
which
do.
I guess I knew that, but I was reminded of that today. They
Yes.
own their roads.
I used to live on the lake. It was-
You did?
Yeah,
Oh,
been 3 years renting a house there. My youngest kid was born there.
Wow.
Oh.
Um,
So
but
so
I
you're saying that this project is better suited to be spearheaded by the Lake Wyola Association and not the LWIC? It seems to
Well,
be.
originally it was the association and Fred being the lead. So I'm not advocating either way. I'm just saying that's where it originated. And sometimes we can get people, I have had experience where people get confused between
Yeah.
LWAC and the association.
But if it originated with the association, our new policy about canceling a grant is that we would go to the association. So
Mhm.
I can, I did not contact them, so I can contact them before we start the process of doing this, to see if they are willing to find somebody who's going to step up and actually do it. But and just let them know, like, if this doesn't happen, the CPC is prepared to
Yeah.
go to town meeting to get these funds back.
I think there's a file for it in the box, Mateo.
Yep.
So that would.
Linda, did you say Mark Rivers is both the head of the association and the
He's-
head of LWIC?
He's no.
Oh.
Donna West is the.
Oh, it's Donna West.
Donna
That's
West
right.
is the president of the association.
That's right.
Yeah, and Mark
And
Rivers
we-
is LWAC.
And we tried getting in touch with her when we were trying to figure out, when Fred kind of disappeared, somebody reached out to Donna. I recall that, and so that's probably the place to start.
Yeah, and I would imagine the presenting it as this is going away, if nobody acts on it, it's going away this year. That might be an incentive for them to either, or to at least get back to us and say, one way or another.
They might want to start all over again with kind of a new approach.
All right. Is there any other conversation about current projects?
So you got my just my little summary about the high school track project we never got a formal application from them.
No, but it did sound like they were going to be submitting a request for like something around $84,000 for the track rebuild. Is that correct? Something, it was something like that.
Yeah, I haven't heard. I assume that would come in this year, but
Based on what Doug Slaughter said at the meeting, it would be coming in our usual cycle.
this cycle, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Mateo, there is one other project I just realized. We still have the Old Town Hall.
Right. Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh,
It
yes.
just so that one, Mateo, we got an application from the now dissolved Buildings Committee and Shutesbury Buildings Committee, and it was, I think, around $28,000, if I'm not mistaken, to do excavation and lifting of the old town hall, which is the building right next to where the post office is, and is currently just pretty much used for storage. There's record storage that happens in there. And they never, the committee, it was really Bob Groves who kind of led it. I think he talked to a number of different contractors, but was unsuccessful in finding somebody who could do the work that he was looking to get done. And so now no longer do we have now we have a new building committee, and that's who the award was made to. It was made to the other one, to the now, the one that's now dissolved. So it's kind of it's a big question in my mind about who we talk to, who we approach.
I mean, the project needs to be done. The building needs to be stabilized. And what they proposed needed to be done if we were going, if we're going to keep that as a viable building. And I guess that becomes the question is, what do we do? Are we going to spend that money and then spend a great deal more money fixing that building up?
Right.
Or are we going to say that building needs to be taken down and
Or mothballed, yeah.
and then a proper storage facility built? That's a big
Yeah.
question.
Yeah, it seemed, and I don't remember the whole history, but it seemed that to me that a really good, like thorough assessment needed to be done. The buildings committee, has taken that on for all town buildings. I think when they get to the school is the highest priority, and then they're going to work the way around, but they're going to undertake a capital needs assessment. And that might be, so they're already like scheduling stuff. And I guess we could talk to them, maybe we write to them and tell them kind of what the situation is, that there is this money for that building. And see kind of if they have some ideas. It'd just be good to, if they say, look, we're not ready for prime time and, we can't spend this money, then we should, we should recapture it. I'm sorry?
Who's the new chair?
Stephen Dalmas.
So maybe we should just send him what the CPA project was and how they proposed it and everything, and see if they're interested in taking this on.
Yeah, I think that would be great. So do you have access to all those files, Matteo? Probably like the original app, it would be like just sending Stephen Dalmas or the building committee, the proposal and what was awarded.
I might have a hard copy if it's in Linda's box, but I don't have a digital copy.
Yeah, so I believe it would be there. I believe there's a hard copy in the box.
Okay.
I mean,
Do you want me to see
the
if I
plan is
have
that there's a hard copy of everything. Some of the very oldest ones are not as complete as the ones the later years, but that one should be in there.
Okay.
You want me to see? I might have an electronic
I
copy.
might also.
So, yeah, if I do, I will send it to you. And Elaine, yeah, if you can look too.
If I can find it, I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
Great, thank you. Okay.
Yeah, that was when we were meeting in person. So,
Right.
Yeah, but we received copies of those electronically, I think, from
Good.
Bob.
Yeah.
All right, is there any other discussion about projects?
No, I think that's it. I don't think there are any others.
Okay. All right, well, let's move on to the next item on the agenda, marketing the CPC. I put something in the town newsletter for the fall.
Mhm.
And once we have our updated application and determination of eligibility form and due dates and all that up on the website, I'll also put something out on Nextdoor. God help me.
you can, Matteo,
Yep.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but as a town board, we would use the town announce system rather than Nextdoor.
Oh, okay.
Procedurally correct.
Yes.
Yeah. Next door gets too
Messy.
personal.
Yeah, and so if you haven't used the town announce system, you can, well, I would say I could help you, but I really can't anymore because, I'm.
I
pretty
can
much
help.
Done, but other people know how to use the system.
Yeah, I know how to do it. I can, it's very easy.
Yeah, it is.
Basically you write the announce and it gets sent to the what committee?
The web
Web
committee.
committee.
Web committee.
web
You send it to the web committee and you'll get a reply, yes, that you can do it, as long as you send it from the town account.
Yeah.
We have a CPC email, don't we?
Yes, we do. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, great. And then the other thing about marketing CPC was that the website commit or the what's it called? The website committee, the
Web committee. Is that, yeah, the web
Yeah.
committee.
web communications committee has asked about further streamlining our website. I did update the website last year and tried to provide some more thorough and compelling information about what we do. Obviously, it has to be updated now with this year's forms and everything anyway. So they have asked that we streamline the site even further and sort of just have the really important bullet point stuff up front and then have links to other associated pages. So a lot of the things that are currently up front on the CPC homepage would go back behind links as hidden, not hidden pages, but
So like you would have a link for current projects.
yeah. So right
Go to
now,
a PDF or something. Of current
Is everything sort of up? I haven't even looked at it in such a long time.
right now we basically have two pages. We have the CPC homepage, which is, hang on a second, I can. There we go. There we go. So it's the CPC homepage
Oh, okay.
with links to the last year's project. So those would come down. And then links to other things that had previously been kind of hiding around on the website. The community preservation plan has to be updated. The other page that we have is really the applying for CPA funding page, which again, I tried to streamline and provide links to, so there are examples of other projects. If somebody's about to write a grant, they can see the kinds of things that we fund. And then provide the sort of simplified steps for how projects move forward with
That's
the
great.
forms.
Yeah, that is great.
Yep.
So that's what
So
we have.
did you want us to take a look at that first page and?
Yeah, I mean, if there, I guess I'm just not entirely sure.
What they want us to do.
Well, yeah.
Here,
Well, I think one of the things coming from the library building committee, they said that, putting that like about the Community Preservation Act and about the Community Preservation Committee, having those on a separate page so that it's an about page, so you can go to that.
mhm.
Just making the front page as clean and clear as possible.
Yeah, I think that's a great place to start, is moving those abouts out of there and
Mhm.
starting with just a really short, like 2-sentence paragraph up top about what the CPC is.
Yep.
Followed by news and updates, and then really what people are going to be looking for is how to apply.
Right.
Keeping that
Right.
information up front, and then about the CPA, about the CPC, and then the history of the CPA in Shutesbury as sort of separate pages that people can then go to. That might make sense.
But I
Yeah.
think you should keep that paragraph. The committee typically meets on the third Thursday of each month. Keep that paragraph up front so that they know when we're meeting.
Where is that, Elaine, now?
In the About Community Preservation
Oh,
Committee,
okay.
it's the second paragraph.
And it could be repeated in the about
Oh, yeah,
page too.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yep. Because they're going to want to know, how do they get in touch with us? Who, when are we there?
And would we put our, like our calendar up hear like when applications are due, that kind of summary information is something somebody might want to see right away. I don't know. I don't know if
Yeah.
that,
Yeah, I think when the applications are due, when we review them, all the steps, the
the
timeline.
calendar stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's important to put up there so that, people see, oh, it's due tomorrow. I need to get this in.
Right.
kind of thing.
And it will be repeated again, but it doesn't hurt to have it in multiple places.
Exactly.
Great. Any other thoughts about the website or just about marketing CPC in general?
It sounds like we're going to have at least 2 applications. We'll have from the regional school and probably from the cemetery commission. And was Kestrel talking about coming back in for Ames Pond?
Mhm.
Did they talk to you, the recreation committee, Elaine?
Not yet.
or-
Not yet, but they talked about coming back.
Yeah.
This year? That we this year, or are they talking about in the future?
I thought they were going to come back, yeah, fairly quickly, but yeah, I suppose we could, well, we don't have to ask them, they'll know.
I think maybe it'd be nice to send an email to all the town boards. I mean, is there going to be an
An all boards meeting, there's nothing scheduled.
Because usually that's when they
The
hear
fall,
about it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So maybe just an
I will
email
check
to-
in about that.
Maybe
That's a
an
good
email
question.
to all the board, all the boards, just to let them know that, don't forget, if you need money, we're here for things.
Great. Thank you.
Oh, you know what else we had? We forgot to ask about the marker in the center of town. I mean, they just got that money though. The
Yeah, I felt like it would be a little pushy.
yeah,
like,
yeah,
uh,
yeah.
grants from this year to say,
Yeah.
so what are you doing, huh? Get on, get on.
Come on, come on, come on.
Okay. But definitely next year, I think, when I follow
Yeah.
up summer again
Yeah.
with people, I'm going to check in with them. All right. Is there any other discussion about marketing?
No, I think if we do that, if we do that reach, that outreach to all the town boards, it was in the newsletter.
Yeah.
Then the town announce, I think,
And the town announce, yeah.
so what else can you do?
Great. All right. And related to that, item 5 on the agenda. So I can update the community preservation plan with the information from this past year's activities. The only
Mhm.
problem is I only have it as a PDF. So does anybody have that document as a Word document that I can edit?
Look right now. I believe I do. And if I don't, Alan most certainly would. So it's the 20 CPC plan from 2021 or 2022?
The one that is available
2021.
now is 2022, fiscal year 2022.
Oh, right, FY 2022, yeah.
Like 22. I might have it mislabeled, but oh, here, community preservation plan.
So it says revised 2021 for fiscal year 2022. This is a chunky document. Do people actually read this? I guess
Yeah.
it has all the warrant articles and it has the application.
I have the 2021 plan in,
Let me see what I have.
not, as a regular Word document.
I can ask Alan.
Yeah, Alan probably. It's really community
He's the one
preservation.
that did the updating
Yes,
last year.
yeah.
All right. So obviously we need to update it with information about our due dates, and we should also probably discuss meetings. So if we're going to stick with the usual meeting time, I suppose that would be October 20th November 17th, December 22nd.
Can you say that slowly? Let's see, October
October 20th,
20th, November 17th,
December 22nd, January 19th, February 16th, March 23rd, which would be when we would invite the applicants to answer questions. April 20th would be the public hearing. And then April 23rd
is that a little late? Yeah,
Yes.
because
it
town
is.
meeting is
Yeah.
now at the end of April.
is, okay.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
right.
it's the last Saturday. So
So
we
we
have to
should,
move that up.
Back to
We
that.
So
yeah.
February
sometimes have an extra meeting for the public
Yeah.
hearing early in March.
So maybe the March 23rd needs to move up because that's the applicant interview.
Okay, so
March 23rd should be the public hearing then, and April 20th should be the vote? Or is that too late?
it's too late because we have to have, we have to work backwards from town meeting, Mateo, to figure this out because we have to have the warrants ready. You know, our
It's
warrant
like
articles
2
ready.
weeks, it's usually
Yeah.
2 weeks before town
What
meeting.
is town meeting date?
Looks like it's the last Saturday in April, which, is that right, Linda, the 29th?
Well, that's what it is, the last Saturday in April, though we've had it later the
around.
last few years because of having it outside.
Right,
Okay. But we should
but we
probably
should
assume-
operate on that assumption that it's
Yeah.
last.
Yeah.
So everything has to be ready by April, like 14th. And
Yeah, at the outside.
on the outside,
Yeah, yeah.
you probably say April 7th.
April 7th would be when,
Yeah, just that's our deadline for having like our articles
Right.
Mhm.
So,
together.
right, so if we, depending on when we, we could, the 7th would be possibly the date that we would vote and get our warrant articles, because we would be voting, then we'd have our warrant articles.
Did you
Yeah,
say
we
April-
on the
we can
seventh.
do April 6th.
April 6th would be the Thursday.
Yeah.
Oh, I see,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, do April 6th, sorry. I was
That's the-
looking at
that's
the-
on the articles.
Vote and warrant articles.
Uh-huh.
So then backing up
The public hearing,
public hearing. Could we
23rd.
do that at the same time?
We have done it, we've always, there have been times, depending on the number of applications, and the length of the public hearing, there have been times when we've voted that same night, but we've always reserved a date the next week to vote
Mhm.
just in case we weren't prepared for some reason to vote during the public hearing or after the presentations. So the February 16th would be the date that we would have the applicants come and,
Yeah. And then the 23rd, the public hearing.
Yep. But when we want to figure out the due dates.
Yeah, so the due dates, well, for the determination of eligibility,
I just have to step aside from,
does that create a problem for the quorum?
Yes.
Okay, we're in recess, I guess. I don't know.
I think we can talk about the calendar. That's housekeeping.
Yeah, so December, in keeping with when it's been due in the past, I guess December 5th for the determination of eligibility
Yeah.
would
okay.
allow us to read them and be prepared to, act on them at the December 22nd meeting.
So let me see, what do we have? We have December, what did you say? December 5th for the,
December 5th for the determination of eligibility.
Oh, good. Right, that's when they would be due.
Yes, for the due date. So then, and then the application due date. Do we need to discuss them before the applicants appear, or do we, at this point, that leaves just one meeting really, the January 19th meeting. between discussing the determination of eligibility and then the appearance of the applicants.
So, right, if, I wonder, I mean, 12, if the determinations are due on the 5th, maybe you would want to meet earlier in December rather than the 22nd, so that you could review them and vote on, vote on the eligibility, and then that would give people more time.
Could we do
Yeah,
it?
I think that's,
Could we do it on the 15th?
yeah,
December 15th?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's better.
So that would be what we would vote.
The determinations of eligibility.
On the 15th, and then
No, wait a minute,
then
wait a minute. We just said the determination of eligibility was December 5th.
that's
That's when
they're
it's
due.
due.
Due date.
That's the due date.
Determination of eligibility, December 15th, due date, December. Got it.
Right,
Yeah.
during the 5th, so then the board, the committee has time to review them and then meet on the 15th to vote. And then, of course, applicants can come, so then if they have questions about their, the full application, they can be answered.
Right.
Um,
And when would applications be due? I think before we
That's
had the
correct.
end of January, didn't we?
Applications are due.
I had it down in late February, but that's going to be too late because they need to
Yep.
appear February
Yeah,
16th.
if you said if they were due at the end of January, then you would be reviewing them on the 16th of February.
Right.
But
And
that's
then,
what we want.
and then they'd still have time if there's further work to be done, they'd still have time then to do that work in anticipation of the public hearing, when they would be, they would make
So
a
for-
presentation.
Yeah, so February 16th would be discussion of the applications with
When
the
is the application interview then?
well, that would be that same meeting, right? Discussion of the applications with the applicants there. Otherwise, it's going to be before January 19th when they're due, which give them only,
But
Right.
that's not enough time. They need that. They need at least 6 weeks.
All
I
right.
mean, the applicant interview, do we always do that with everybody, Linda? I was trying to remember.
So what we've
Elaine?
done is, in the past, we've had, so we'd be approving the eligibility or not on the 15th of December. And then we would have a regular meeting in January, and applicants can come and ask questions,
Right.
about their applications. They're not due, but they would discussion if they needed it. And then the applications, we haven't decided on a due date. But again, you could adjust, depending on the due date, because then they'd be due, and then the committee needs time to review them before meeting.
would it be possible maybe to move the determination of eligibility due date up from December into November? Because then that would give enough time between the vote on the DOEs and the deadline for the applications, because we can't move the applications forward, but we could move the determination of eligibility back to November, which is not great because it only gives people a few months, but it's a 1-page or 2-page
Yeah, it's pretty simple.
as opposed to the application, which is rather more involved.
Right. Yeah, I think that's,
So
we could do it that week right after, like a week earlier.
So we would vote on the determination of eligibility at the November 17th meeting.
whoa.
No,
Really
Yeah.
early.
Whoa.
that's,
good.
yeah,
I'm getting all confused. October 20th is a meeting, November 17th is a meeting, and then we said December 5th was the initial applications, and we had December 15th as we would do the determination of eligibility. It gives them a month to get their application in for January 19th. Is that not long enough?
or if you
Not long
said,
enough.
if you said the end of January.
Yeah.
if
No,
you
we
say
do it the end of
then
January.
End of January, then the because then the CPC would be meeting on the 16th of February, and that's when you'd have all the applications to have had time to review them and come together and then look over the criteria, et cetera, et cetera.
And
So-
the applicants can be there to answer questions. I think that's
Absolutely.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
we just do it in
so-
one meeting.
Mhm.
So if we say that their applications are due on the 31st, that gives us 2 weeks to review
Mhm.
them.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay, so January 31st.
So let's see what day of the week is that.
January 31st is a Tuesday.
Right.
All right, so I'm
Sure.
gonna repeat this. So I have, our meetings are on October 20th, November 17th, December 5th, their application letter is due. December 15th is our determination of eligibility.
The vote.
Discussion.
Our vote. Yeah,
Our
right.
vote.
Right,
Oh.
that's when we determine eligibility. Yeah.
That's our vote on determination of eligibility.
Yeah.
January 31st, applications are due. February 16th is our discussion of applications and applicant interviews. March 23rd is the public hearing, and April 6th, we vote and warrant articles are created. That sound all right?
And do we
Yeah.
want to schedule the post-town meeting for the grant agreements? Because we have to vote on those, right?
Right, right.
Say that again?
So we would
So a
be,
May meeting to
Oh.
do the grant agreements and to do a kind of recap. Now, this could all get thrown. You know, it could all be much later if town meeting ends up getting pushed later. But
let's just put it down now.
yeah, let's put it down.
Okay, so that would be
May 18th, right? The third Thursday.
May 18th?
Yep. Great.
Okay.
Any other discussion about the schedule, the calendar for the year?
No, I was just thinking about how usually every year we do take time to just to review the plan content, not the, the criteria, et cetera. I don't know if we need to do that again this year, but we've done it most years. We've just taken a look to see if there's anything that needs to be updated.
We could do that at our meeting on the 20th, right?
Yeah, there's nothing, otherwise there's really not much else to
Yeah.
discuss at that point.
And we would review any edits that you made to the CPC plan.
Yep.
Right. It might not be a bad idea at that meeting just to step through the process, Linda, like those review sheets, like using those, because
Mhm.
sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
meant, that,
Yeah.
just to go through the
Yeah.
criteria and the review.
Mhm.
And the other thing is just to look at the applications themselves, because I think we've received some feedback that, that they might, that we might want to just look them over, just to.
Just the form,
The
the form
forms, yeah,
and the,
look over the forms.
and the score. Okay.
Do you have anything specific of what the feedback was? Or-
I'd have to think of it. It was from Penny Jakes, and it had to do with sort of how easily they're fillable and or not, and that there some of the page breaks are a little awkward, and just where how they're laid out.
Well, so yeah, along those lines, this kind of gets into item 6. I don't know what we're allowed to do by law, but I almost wonder, I mean, first I thought if we just had like a form fillable PDF, that would be probably the easiest thing to do.
Mhm.
Right.
Yep.
But then another option would be to create an online form of some kind. I mean, do we need eight paper copies anymore? We really just need the
No,
digital.
yeah,
No,
we don't.
we need one.
One for our files,
Paper file, yes.
but
'cause we
no,
have to maintain a
otherwise.
Paper file.
I would offer to take a look at the, at sort of the content in the application and the scoring criteria, but I am not the person to figure out the forms and how to, how to make electronic, all of that.
Yeah, I don't know either, but it is just, to make it
I know.
make-
Yeah,
make
no, it's
filling
somebody who really,
out easier.
yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't think there's any constraints on what we do in terms of having a fillable PDF. We can do that, right? There's no reason why we couldn't.
Okay, I can look into putting that together once we have a sense of what we want the form to look like.
I meant there's no statute constraint around
No,
any of
no.
that. No.
No.
Mhm.
And also, we do have a budget, so we just keep that in mind if we needed a little bit of help. We have, I think every year we allocate $2,500 in admin. And the only, we usually use it for advertising and to pay our coalition dues.
Yeah.
So we always give money back. So if it were that we needed to get somebody to sort of help us get something up, it wouldn't be a big deal.
When you say up as in like an online form or up just?
Yeah,
as
an online form, if somebody here isn't willing or able, because I know I can't do it. Yeah, we do have we do have an admin budget.
I mean, I make Google Forms all the time for my students, but I don't know if the town uses Google Forms. I don't know what the,
Right.
the
Yeah,
legal-
that, I was thinking more of a form that people could, click on our webpage. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, the problem with the Google form is like they have to be ready to fill the whole thing out there,
Right,
when they're on it. Whereas if it's a form fillable PDF,
right.
they can put it on their computer, they can work on it, they can.
Right.
Yeah,
things.
that's what I was thinking of, was exactly that. Yeah.
And if it's a Google form, isn't it like one, and everybody can see everybody else's and all, and we probably would like to have them separated. But I think a PDF that they could download and they can then upload it back to us. That would be so much easier.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can separate Google form responses by respondent and see like what one respondent has answered
Yeah.
to everything.
Right.
But I think it creates
yeah.
pressure to like finish it on the spot, like
Right.
Yeah.
great for
Yeah.
my students, but I don't want applicants to feel that pressure.
Right, exactly. And comfortability, I think, yeah.
Yeah. Comfort with using them. I mean,
Yeah.
it's going to be a stretch to get some people to create a PDF, to work on a PDF. So this will be, let's do it in baby steps.
Okay. All right. So
And
one,
are you going to do that, Matteo, or are we going to wait to discuss it at our October 20th meeting?
I think at the October 20th meeting, so I'll take a stab at updating the CPC plan and we'll review the updated plan.
Okay.
And then we could also take a look at, whatever I end up doing to the website. Hopefully it's good. And that would also be a time where we can discuss how we want to change the application and the DOE. And then what I'll do is on the website right now, because we have them up there, it might create the misleading impression that we are using those forms currently. So I'll just replace them with something like, current year's application form coming soon or something like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that'll be great.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. All right. Is there anything else for discussion?
No, we covered a lot.
Yeah,
All right. In that case, is there a motion to adjourn?
so moved.
Second.
All right. Do we need to vote on adjourning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my lord. Okay. Farrell,
Aye.
Julio,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
and Gallo, aye.
Thanks,
Aye.
everybody. Good
Thank you.
night.
Thank you.
7:56.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mateo.